Thank you very much, CK. Yes, so in your introduction, you basically already explained my PPT or my slide deck here. What I want to share today is all about transformation, how to build a factory of the future. And you can already see, and I experienced myself now, with all the new technology, sometimes it's not so easy. I think it's now the third laptop I try here to be online and live. But yeah, so how do we do these kind of things in our plant? I want to share an example here. Factory of the future, digitalization and leadership as transformation success factors. And we try to do this here in Asia Pacific in our new plant, which is about 1 year old now in Vietnam. And I take you step by step now through what we have done so far and what is our journey here. Very shortly to the company where I work for, I'm the COO Asia Pacific. I live in Singapore for the last 2 years here. We are a manufacturing company, have about 87,000 people working for us worldwide and 170 locations, 50 countries, and 75 plants, which means we are a huge manufacturing company. You can also see here the number 1.1 million ton of steel we are processing. So we are pure manufacturing metal forming company, more than 10,000 products, and we are in the field of, or the business divisions of automotive OEMs, where we produce systems, components for engine system, transmission, hybrid, electrical drives, of course now chassis systems. We do have an automotive aftermarket division for the products we have and others for the after sales, repair shops and so on. And we have a huge industrial division, which is clustered in sectors here. You can see wind, railway, two-wheelers, industrial automation. So we started as a bearing company, but have metal components. Everything what's turning, moving is something we produce. And of course, the field of Industry 4.0 is interesting for ourselves, our own manufacturing footprint, but also for the applications we produce and the products we offer for our customers. We bring more and more intelligence and software into our products to connect things to get process data. But this presentation today is not about our customers. This presentation more is our own factory of the future. How do we transform, and why I do believe that digitalization alone will not make it. We need clearly focus on our leadership, and that's why I call it digitalization and leadership as transformational success factors. So I think we have a simple recipe how to transform a plant. You can see here a screenshot of our production system. You can see the suppliers on the left side. Then we go into a incoming area. We do stamping, heat treatment, grinding something. We do assembly. We have other function, industrial engineering, laboratories, tool services, and then we go into JIT or GIS outgoing areas to our customers. So that's conventional, what we have already. What is needed now to transform into a digital organization, and I put it here together. It's all these things we hear and read and talk about every day. It's 3D printing, it's digital twins, collaboration robots, artificial intelligence, digital services, augmented reality, smart devices. So basically, we take now our conventional footprint and we take now all the new technology, the innovations, the new ideas, the software, and we put it all into our existing mechanical and then conventional driven operations, and we come to the factory of tomorrow. So if we talk about factory of tomorrow, then of course what we want to have connected all our machines, we want to have connected the people, real-time data, machines talking to each other, autonomous plants, paperless, all these kind of things. I think that's a very common understanding how a factory of tomorrow can look like. Of course, then we have cobots inside, we have AGVs, basically a plant can drive it autonomous, we have machines who make smart decisions and so on. But when we talk about that with our employees, maybe the picture looks a little bit different. And I put here some notes. We talk about big data, some devices, Industry 4.0. And on the other hand, we talk about transparency, new skills, escalations, observation. You know, transparency is good, observation is bad. So do we need what do we need for what do we need together, what maybe here not aligned. These are all things which our employees have questioning, have a high uncertainty, and you know about the VUCA world. This brings a lot of mixed feelings, I guess, to our workforce. Is my job secure? Do I work in the same environment as tomorrow? What do I need to learn? And these kind of things. So again, when we come back to our big idea here of a factory of tomorrow, I think we need a clear vision, which we have and shown here in a picture. We know we transform from today to tomorrow, where we are not so clear about this tomorrow at the moment. This topic of OT security becomes more and more critical. We already have some solutions, but are these solutions the right ones? We need to start to learn about digital, technical details, IT skills. Yes, we had some in the past. I don't know if these skills are the right ones for the future. And we already started with a lot of use cases, pilots. I think every one of us has good examples and a lot of fun and enjoys these smart solutions. But what's really another success factor we cannot forget, and that's why I want to show that in the next 9 steps we have here put together, is the change management, the leadership transformation, the skills we need. Yeah, on one side we say IT skills. Yes, we know how that works, but what kind of skills are needed for digitalization, algorithms, analytics, connectivity, and how will our leadership change in this environment? Definitely, we need to have a long-term view. We need to be agile on the other hand, and we have no idea really where this long-term view will lead us. So is this the final picture of our future plant here? And so these are all questions, and I will guide you now with some 9 steps I put together here, how we started the journey to come to a factory for the future. I think one of the first things we need to have is a clear digital strategy to give the direction for all our activities. And here we put in the middle this digital strategy, transparent utilization, digital empowered employees, data-driven decision making. There can be different versions of that. I tell you, in all our 75 plants in the Schaeffler world, this digital strategy looks always a little bit different because we have different product systems, we have different supply chains, different markets. But overall, the key message here, we have to have this clear strategy. And we put here the focus areas of people, technology, processes, and data. So these are all vital ingredients which have to work together to come to a future plant. Very important here is then our guiding principles, where we overall have a company vision and divisional or business visions and plant visions. We have a Schaeffler production system, and we are focusing on reducing waste here. So all the things we do in terms of digitalization, we do not do, and we cannot allow to do just because of digitalization and because we think it's at the moment sexy and a lot of fun. We need to create benefits here. We need to align this with our own long-term vision, which we have and which made us successful in the past. And we need to include here the people, the qualification, guidance. It has to be attractive for them. They need to feel the benefit. The technology cannot be there because of technology. If it does not add any value, maybe it's then the wrong technology for today for our plants. Which processes are we looking at? How do we synchronize the processes? How do we connect them? And then last but not least, what do we do with all the data which we are collecting now? How do we transform data and value? And then the value and benefit for customer, supplier, and for our employees. So that's a big guiding starting point here, the strategy. And the next step then would be a kind of an assessment. And we call it digital and autonomous plant assessment, to identify where we are. So here we put 10 areas where we thought this is important. Everyone, you can take 10, you can take 5. It's I think it's just important that you have something where you measure against your strategy and against your vision of a future plant. What is important? What do you think today is important? And then there's a questionnaire behind, And how do we evaluate? How do we evaluate today our capability of data and analytics? How do we evaluate our culture to change from today's system into a digital autonomous factory for tomorrow? And so this is something we should do, and we are doing every quarter to see how we are improving, and also to see the weak points here. At the end, it's like a wheel, right? You need to try to have it round, to have it smooth, and all these things work. It doesn't help you if you have a great digital shop floor, state of the art, better than everybody else, but your organization and workforce has no clue how to use that digital shop floor management. So that's a very good tool for us here with these 10 success factors to make an assessment from time to time and to clearly identify the areas we need to work here in a team. As we are transforming, transformation has always something to do with change. And then we look into change management. How do we motivate people? How do we take uncertainty out of people's mindset? I think it's important to let them participate and experience and explore what's the benefit, what's happening. So we need to connect the change with a good feedback here, and that's why it's here already on step number 3 for us, human-centered approach. What is the experience, or how do we let the employees experience the change, the benefit of digitalization, the personal benefit, but the benefit for the organization? And we put it here in operations at the production line. Of course, these are the people who work in front of our machines, who actually produce the parts, who decide how good is this part, how to improve the process, and how to make us successful. Another area which is really affecting immediately is in documentation, the documentation process. We have to go to paperless. We need to use live dashboarding, reporting real-time data. That's benefiting immediately to our employees. Let me jump to the left side, training to set up their skills. Of course, the opportunities we have with virtual reality, augmented reality, digital labs, digital twins, it's a huge potential which can increase the experience for our people to develop themselves and to grow, which we cannot forget. And there's some areas where we need to be very fast to let them, to have them a share on the transformation immediately. The last point here, I put on the management to support the analysis. For sure, we want to use this data for decision making, for planning, but I come later to that, and CK, you mentioned that also in your introduction here. We need to adapt our leadership style, and I have it later together, but I believe with the new transformation of our production systems, the speed, the clarity, and transparency, the leadership style has to change and has to adapt and be agile in the same way as we introduce new technology. The next point then, what we created here, and this is something to visualize our vision in a more deeper way, is a target picture. And this target picture, in our case here, when we start from the bottom, we take all our employees, we take the different departments here, and thinking about how do we connect them, and what benefit do they have from digitalization? What benefit can they have by being connected to each of the machines, each of our suppliers, and so on. Then we go more into a technical view here in our operator, shop floor, logistics. How do we connect these things? Do we have an AGV? Do we work with some real-time data? What kind of terminals we have? What kind of systems we do? And a little bit go into the infrastructure which we need actually to make this happen. Because this picture also shows we do not want to work in single silo pilots. You know, to have one AGV or to have one cobot somewhere in a line, loading, unloading a machine, it is okay just to test the physical capability of a cobot. But at the end, we want to have a smart cobot talking to the machine and talking to industrial engineering, giving information which helps us to get better, and maybe also think about this connectivity to supplier and customers, to tell them, okay, we finished that batch, supplier, you can get ready. We need some more components, or the customer, give him a real-time data status of where is this production now and how long does it take. So that's something we want to show here. And then, of course, when we go more upwards, we see our infrastructure. We need some kind of gateways, which enable us to connect and exchange here information. We come into a kind of a messaging broker system. We call it our plant data center, where then our dashboards, our application widgets, all these applications run with other systems like existing MES systems or ERP systems which we have. And then the next step would be we bring it into a global cloud, because I believe that's a real benefit. Think about, you see here a machine. We have probably one kind of these machines, maybe 1,000 to 1,500 of the same type of machines in our world, in our global network. And real benefit comes then if we have all the data from all the same kind of machines in terms of condition monitoring, spare part management, performance, parameter settings. I think that's when we really come into a benefit of digitalization. So target picture is very clear. On the other hand, this target picture is just a snapshot what we know today. Maybe in 3 months we are faced with more innovation, more technical possibilities, and we need to adjust this target picture. So agility and willingness of change is still something we need to consider here. So we talked about the strategy, where we are with our assessment, involvement of the people, yes, to experience change, our target picture. So now who is going to do it? And we see here something where we have to say we need to adapt our organization, which also means we need new skills and new functions. Let's say 5 years ago, I don't think that we talked about product owners, solution architects, data scientists, connectivity technologists. And these are all new job descriptions and positions we create now, all of us here in this industry, to be able to handle what we need. There's new skills here, which we have to implement into our organization. So definitely this organizational setup of an organization, of a plant, has to change. We cannot proceed again here as what we have done in the last 10, 15 years. So once we have now the pain point evaluation, the strategy, the target picture, let's move forward and go into execution. And we decided, because we have our long-term view here, we want to have a sustainable, best-class plant here. We invest a lot of time into infrastructure, setting the basis for our digital transformation. Means what are the servers and architecture, the LAN cabling, the networking, the access points. And at the moment, we are spending really to the topics as our priority. And we spend a lot of money and a lot of time on that to do it right. We believe if we do the infrastructure and the connectivity here as point number 2, a little bit slow but more solid and detailed, then later we just accelerate on utilizing the data we create here, and are not hindered by not being connected in the right way or not having the right standard. So connectivity, for example, here we use different connectivity solutions. We benchmark a lot, but also as Schaeffler, we are developing, or we developed our own gateways. We develop our own software based on our production system to be ready and to really have something which fits 100% to our production system. We do lose some time here. I have to clearly say there's a lot of gateways available at the market. We come into topics of OT security, data points, capability, software definition. So that's why we made this decision here to go into our own development. And then the next thing, or parallel to that, we immediately start with the first use cases here of real-time data dashboard, as I said before, and I put this here with the people in this picture. We need to let the employees and our organization experience the change. Little changes. Dashboard is nothing new. Everybody has dashboards, but now connecting these dashboards, having real-time data, different views, be more flexible. That's clearly a small step of transformation, but it's important for us to have this hand in hand. And then afterwards, we go into app development. Again, this is user-oriented, augmented virtual reality. And after that, step-by-step single solution. But our recommendation and our experience we have right now here is really spend some time on the right infrastructure. Make sure you're sure that you don't need to change your infrastructure or your gateways or your connectivity model in 6 months because you forgot something. That's why we spent a little bit more time here. Coming to the details, infrastructure and connectivity, how do we do that? And a really detailed view, and basically what we do, we take a layout where we see all our machines, and then we zoom in, and then we have a clear plan where's our cabling, which sensors, which standard sensors are we using, which gateways we need in which position, not only today, because you can see there are some white spots in this layout, but also for tomorrow, where we expect new machines coming. So Vietnam is a plant 1 year old, so we are still ramping up and adding more machines, adding more headcount. So we lay the infrastructure for the future, for what we put the layout here in a very detailed way, and we're trying hard to defend this kind of forward moving. As I said, it takes some more time, but at the end we do have standard gateways, several connectivity data points, which makes it at the end much faster to what we want to do. Some other impressions, as I said, involve the employees. Here we put a screen wall, and the screen wall is where we can have different things. You see some data here, you see condition monitoring, but also the virtual reality, augmented reality topics here. It's a virtual trainer which we have, where really the employees can open a machine. We do setup time trainings or setup trainings, unit handling trainings. So these kind of things are parallel, developed, but immediately put into the right place, and always include the organization for that. And that's then also the fun part. I mean, this is also important. As I said, change management, you need to connect positive experience with our employees, that they're not afraid. When again, this uncertainty, we need to overcome by positive feedback, benefits, and they need to see a benefit out of that, instead of working 8 hours on a simple line doing arm movement from left to right. No, trust them with new technology, and let them develop it with us together. I think that's a key point here. Last point I want to highlight and say, that's that's what you mentioned at the beginning: leadership development, and that's a crucial part we don't talk too much about. And when we go to fairs, when we see something on LinkedIn, all these great ideas, how do we implement this? We need to define, I think, new leadership standards. I put it here. How do we act now? How do we deal with transparency? In the past, I give you an example. In a daily work, we look at data from last day. There maybe was a quality issue. There maybe was a machine breakdown, and then we discuss about past data. We look into the mirror to the back and try to understand and act. But with the real-time data availability, we need to make decisions now. We need to understand immediately, and we have to change, because this data is available, and now the organization needs to, is it a blaming organization? Is it a proactive organization? I think transparency cannot become a threat for our employees. It has to help us, and we have to support the trust from our employees to work with transparency, that proactively we don't lose the speed and we don't lose our agility. Agility for leadership is also something we cannot stick to our plans anymore, like we did in the past. If you have an action plan in the past and you have 10 points, we implemented these 10 points. Afterwards, we try to look at these success or the results. Is it a success or not? With digitalization, the feedback is much more immediate. So we need to accept that these 10-point plans might not work anymore. We need to accept that we put 2-3 actions in place. We get immediately feedback, and maybe it means that our point 3 to 10 is not valid anymore. We have to find a new way. So this agility we need. Something very difficult maybe for us is to trust smart algorithms. You know, when you're not happy with the results, sometimes you question the mathematical model. But with algorithms, it's going to be an interesting discussion here. We have to avoid discussing that the algorithm might be wrong, that there must be a mistake in that. So how do we deal with that? We also face that you have young data analysts. Normally we live, especially in production environment, with people who have experience, who've been on the machine, who can tell us exactly what happens. Now there will be a new generation in our organization, people from university just starting with skills we need. I call them here young data analysts. They have no clue about a production machine or grinding. They have no clue about mechanical performance of a material. But what they know is what the data says and how to read the data and give us an idea in which direction we need to change the process. So we need to build some trust here as leaders in these young talents, that we can make decisions based on that. And I can do this here for another hour, what all has to change in our leadership development. Another point, what we found out and what we believe in, we have to find the right partners. We cannot develop everything by ourselves. We need to speed up, we need to gain speed, and we call it here development collaborations. We have some partners in Vietnam, like FPT for programming, for helping us. We have here with CK now for some topics, some projects we start here. You need to find the right partners. I think this is a sharing time, a sharing community, not only in experience, but also in applications, lessons learned. Let me sum up. I'm not sure about the time, but the original approach what we had, and when we talk about these kind of things, it's technical solutions. We spent 80% on that, also in discussions, in leadership discussions in the past, also here on this conference, maybe talk about technical solutions and ideas, less on leadership. I believe transformation to plant to the future factory of tomorrow. We need to transform the production system. We need to transform our operating system, but we also need to transform a focus area and discussion points. I believe it's going to be less on technical ideas. We have that. It will come anyway. We cannot stop that anymore, but we have to focus and consciously go into dialogue with our employees, with our leadership, with our teams. How do we do that and engage everyone and move forward? So let's transform in this way. My message is for you today, and then later that's something we can discuss and we should discuss. I'm interested in to hear your experiences, especially in leadership adaptation here. First of all, we need to challenge our digital ideas. If they help us, if they bring benefit to our customers, to our employees, to our suppliers. We need to think about different point of views here in regards of the VUCA world. We as technology-driven people or in the management, it's a different viewpoint as some of our employees might have with less experience. They have different thoughts. We have to have an open ear here. We need to find the right organizational setup to empower the teams and to create this agility. It comes not automatically. We need to build the trust here, and we need to focus on people management. I always say it change 80-20 to 20-80, and at last but not least, at the end, every one of us here should have fun.